Folks, welcome into That Betting Show for January 22nd, 2019. He's Teddy Savransky. Give him a follow on Twitter at Teddy_covers. I'm Donnie Seymour at RightSideVP on Twitter. The most action-packed 20 minutes in sports betting that you're going to need. Your one-stop shop for everything in sports betting here at sportsbookreview.com. Let's get right down to it, Teddy. A couple key topics to go over today, and we'll get it started right off the top with hot topics. We can't get enough of this. New Orleans Saints fans can't get enough. Billboards popping up in Atlanta as we speak. Car dealership owners angry. The NFL blew it. You know, I'm looking right now on Twitter as we're live here. Darren Vell is tweeting out damages in Saints ticket holder lawsuit against Roger Goodell and the NFL include loss of faith in the NFL, loss of enjoyment in life, loss of entertainment, distrust in the game. Teddy, we're going overboard here, aren't we?
Yeah. That lawsuit's not going to win. Okay. Sean Payton, Armstead, with a great quote. I'm trying to stop crying for real, like a baby. Just thinking about everything in totality. Just being so close to actually going to the Super Bowl. Somebody like me from a small town in Illinois, a small school, and I'm about to go to the Super Bowl. Man, that shit is tough. It's like heartbreaking. Yeah, it is. But to change the entire NFL because you guys got a blown call? Sorry, doesn't work that way. What we don't want, what nobody wants, is more delays, more replays, and more inconclusive video evidence changing calls on the field. The pass interference call that wasn't called was a bad call. It was a bad miss. Yes. And you got screwed, Saints fans, and I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean, let's go file a lawsuit. What a 2019 thing to do. Let's file a lawsuit. Where? It happens. Life's not fair. Sorry. Better luck next year.
No, absolutely. I mean, it happens all over the time. And let's not forget also, did I miss something here, Teddy, where the game ended on that call and the minute nobody threw a flag, the Saints lost the game? No. I remember the Saints taking the lead. I remember the Saints having a chance with a minute and a half to go to stop the Rams from getting a field goal. Didn't happen. I remember the Saints, Teddy, winning a coin toss. I remember the Saints getting the football first in overtime and the Saints turning it over in overtime. So I don't think we missed it all the way around where this was the end all be all. I mean, the call sucked, don't get me wrong, but let's look a little bit deeper in there. Still had so many chances to win that game, Teddy.
Sure. The Saints also kicked 2 short field goals in the first quarter. They could have been up 21-0 in that game. Sean Payton's conservative decisions ended them with a 13-0 lead. That was just enough to blow. It sucks. It's not fair. It's not right. But God forbid the league office get involved more and these 3.5, 4-hour marathons get even longer. No, that's not the right solution to the problem. The right solution is suck it up. You got screwed. Better luck next year. That's the solution.
Hot topic in the NBA, Teddy. Last night, the Warriors took a lot of money on, and that's partly protected, obviously. LeBron James not playing in the game. Lonzo Ball injured. Line opens up around 10.5. Balloons up to 13.5. Easy winner by the Warriors last night. Big second and third quarters to propel and move away from the Lakers. Easy covering that one. Another interesting one. Klay Thompson hits 10 straight three-pointers in one stretch. Goes 10 of 11 for the game. And the Warriors walk away, Teddy, with their 9th straight victory, doing it easy. Usually sometimes in the middle of the winter, you're talking January, February, you get bored here. But it looks like the Warriors just starting to heat up with that 9th straight win now.
Well, yeah, they got DeMarcus Cousins back in the lineup. They're just starting to figure things out right now. And clearly, from the results of the first 2 games with Cousins, and again, there's some flawed teams that they played, obviously. But this team looks really scary right now. From a power rating standpoint, they're at least a nickel. 5 points better than the second best team in the NBA with Cousins on the floor. The books found that out the hard way last night with all that Golden State money. I'm telling you, Warriors 5 points better at a minimum than every other team in the NBA right now. Bookmakers will figure that out pretty quick.
Yeah, no, I would tend to think so.
Yeah, and of course, the Lakers without Lonzo. That's an impact injury. Lonzo by himself is not an impact player, but without Lonzo and Rondo on the floor, they have no point guard, and that really showed last night.
No, it certainly did. Blowout winner there. We'll see as it goes forward, because we talked about it yesterday in the show, Teddy. Not the great ATS team just yet for Golden State, but certainly were able to pile it on, and the money was right last night. Overnight line movers, Teddy. Obviously, we're gamblers out there. When you sleep, as they say, Wall Street and money never sleeps out there. Neither do the lines. They open up and shift all night long. Sharps, public, everybody's hitting it. By the time you wake up, a lot of movements out there. Some offshore markets open Georgia Tech a favorite, Teddy, versus Notre Dame. That quickly went into reverse. Now we're showing Notre Dame -3, -3.5 in some outlets out there. Total of 133.5. Money line 165 plus 145 split. Key injuries probably propelling this, Teddy, with Alvarado, Gaye, and Alston being out, or at least questionable or highly doubtful for Georgia Tech here. Good line movement here, do you think? Or maybe they're just running away with something, saying, hey, you know what? I see guys are out. I'm going to bet it that way, and it's as simple as that.
Well, we're talking about key guys that are missing for Georgia Tech. I mean, Alvarado downgraded to doubtful with a groin injury. Gouye down to doubtful with a leg injury. But the one I think the markets weren't expecting was Alston, who's questionable with a personal situation. I don't know what the situation is, but clearly the markets do not expect him to play. And Georgia Tech's not good enough to withstand three key guys being out against anyone. No surprise that Notre Dame, big move towards Notre Dame. And frankly, I don't know that that's a big enough move, considering the caliber of players that Georgia Tech has on the roster behind these three. It's not real pretty for the Yellow Jackets this season.
Michigan and Minnesota, Tony, a total that is actually on the move. Opening line overnight around 135. Now looks like it's moved up about 2.5 points to 137.5. Michigan line tonight at -13, total of 137.5 as we just went over. Money line, big one here. Lottery ticket size plus 735, -1,000 split. No real late key injury information here, but we do know, Teddy, how good Michigan is and efficient they are on defense, particularly offensively as well. Looks like a decent line move. I mean, it's not a lot of points. We're not talking about 155, 160 here. You're looking at a line move in the 130, so 65, 6, somebody in that mid-60s to high 60s range might get you close there. Maybe some fouls to put you over the top in the end. Agree with this line movement, Teddy?
Let's start with this. If I win the lottery, it damn well better pay me better than 7.3 to 1.
That's a lot of money, Teddy.
That's not a lottery ticket. Lottery tickets are at the 100 to 1, man. 500 to 1. 50 to 1, not 7 to 1. That's okay. You can make fun of most of the things I say. Apparently, everyone I do radio or video with, I throw shade on them all the time. So that's what everyone tells me. You're like, you're such a dick on the air. I'm like, well, I'm a dick in real life too.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it real.
Yeah, exactly. What am I going to do? Yeah, I play a jerk on TV. Guess what? I'm a jerk in real life. This series, and I was really surprised by this. Was not one that stood out to me. We've seen nothing but under money on Michigan games all year. They've been betting Michigan under. Well, last 5 meetings, 5-0 to the over. Clearly, when you look at the Gophers' game plan and what they want to do against the Wolverines, they do not want to get sucked into a half-court game. So everything Pitino and the Minnesota is going to try to do here is about pushing the pace. They've been able to do that fairly successfully in recent meetings, and the markets have clearly adjusted to that with 2.5 3-point move to the over and early betting action today.
Super Bowl, we're going to keep an eye on this. Look, we're still just about 2 weeks out, but obviously it's the biggest thing on our plate. Once these Saints fans get over the fact that they lost the NFC title game, they'll get back into the betting markets with us, Teddy, and sort of engage in the Super Bowl. Because as Teddy says out there, don't be a fan favorite of a certain team. Be a fan of gambling, which we are here on That Betting Show. Take a look at the lines. Not much movement, Teddy. Pinnacle Offshore is still holding that 1.5, but primarily across the board, mostly 2.5. Some twos are showing up over under in this one. I guess we're going to get a record for a Super Bowl, 57.5, pretty much across the board as we go. But not a lot to get settled into. And I know you said it yesterday, and I really agreed with what you said, Teddy. The market, if you didn't take it at the jump, where like the Rams were favored -1, or you took the Patriots early, I think we're all waiting for that line movement, whether or not you want to jump in, because if you are a Patriot backer, you don't want to see it go to 3, but it's almost like you're waiting for that next movement. Smart to jump in if you're a Rams fan now saying, I don't think it gets to 3 and I think there's a buyback here, or smart to sit it out, which I agree with what you're saying yesterday. Sometimes you don't want the Rams until maybe it hits 3 in this spot.
All right, so let's talk about some differences between the books. You talked about pennies at 1.5. Bovada's at 3 already. I read a couple of quotes from lines makers here in Las Vegas saying, yeah, we're probably going to get to 3. We haven't done it yet. We'll be proactive. It's been nothing but Patriots money. Talked to a couple bettors, said, who's going to bet the Rams? They're like, people bet the Rams. I said, who's going to bet them at less than +3? They're like, no wise guys. So at 3, there will be two-way action on this game. Less than 3? No, it's still going to be Patriots. Now, all that being said, if you like New England, I would bet them sooner rather than later. All right, we talked about this yesterday, and already, the penny's only 2.5 out there. Everyone else is 2 Sorry, only 1.5 out there. Everyone else pretty much is 2.5. Find a 2, lay it today. You're not going to get a better price on New England than the current number. At 2.5, at 3, we'll see some Rams money. Haven't seen the 3, the broader market move to 3 yet. And I don't think we will until the weekend of the game. So if you like the Rams, you wait. If you like the Patriots, you bet them right now.
Folks, that betting show, January 22nd. Once again, he's Teddy. I'm Donnie. We'll go over a couple more things here. Watch What You Bet segment, very popular, coming up. If you haven't done so yet, they're on Twitter. Follow us at SBR Sports Picks on Twitter, on the subscribe on the YouTube button. I remember it wasn't too long ago, people. 18, 19,000 on there, well over 50,000, and certainly hoping to hit that more. Hit the subscribe button. Every time that betting show goes live with me and Teddy on the air, you'll get that notification. Can pop in and check it out. SBRodds.com. Just went over some live movements. Fantastic tool. Check it out for all your sports needs at sportsbookreview.com. Let's get into Watch What You Bet. Some big games tonight, Teddy, down in the SEC. Top 25 battle. Mississippi State invades Rupp Arena. Current line sitting with Kentucky, -6.5, a total of 144. Kentucky coming in hot, Teddy, looking for their 5th straight win. And look at the dominance, Teddy. 11-0 at Rupp Arena. But against the spread, only 5-6. Kentucky laying 6.5 tonight, Teddy. What can we look forward to here?
Yeah, the point spread is always the great equalizer, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, they're 11-0. Oh, no, they're not. They're 5-6. But Kentucky, over the course really of the last 2 weeks, this team has flipped a switch. And they are a one-way team for me. I don't like this spot for Kentucky tonight. They have Kansas on deck. They're coming off a big road win. They've certainly, back-to-back big road wins. They've certainly played better basketball of late, and I am concerned about the spot. But for an underachieving team early, we knew what the talent level was, and the talent level's been there all year. They're coming on. They figured things out right now. And Mississippi State, hey, heck of a season. Nothing but impressed with the Bulldogs, and I'm not in any rush to step in front of them. But they're not a one-way team for me. They don't have national championship contender potential. Kentucky does. So don't love the spot for the Wildcats, but they are not a team I am in any rush to step in front of.
Yeah, certainly 11-0 at home, and no shame in the 3 losses they had this year, Teddy. Open up on a neutral court. I mean, you get shellacked, but it was Duke game 1. Then you lose to Seton Hall in overtime by 1 point on a neutral court, and then you lose to Alabama 77-75 in a game that Alabama was all juiced up for that game. So should be interesting night tonight at Rupp Arena. Let's take it over to the hard court in the Association. Western Conference NBA battle. Interesting spot here. Portland taking on Oklahoma City. Both teams played yesterday on MLK Day. Both coming off victories in this one. Should be an interesting one if we take a look at some of the spreads out there. Oklahoma City favored roughly on the home court, -6. Over-under is 227. Moneyline split, Teddy, +180, -215. Any dead legs in this environment tonight? But both coming in pretty even here. Even though I know Oklahoma City played a little bit earlier in the day, both still in a travel spot here. Should be a good matchup tonight in the NBA.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, from a spot standpoint, you say, all right, the Thunder played earlier yesterday. They also weren't tested in that game. I mean, there was a rout pretty early. They were up by 20 at the half against the Knicks and coasted thereafter. So for a team on the second of back-to-backs, they're in about as good a spot as you can be, and the markets are reflecting that. All that being said, it's also 3rd and 4 for OKC, 5th and 8 for OKC. They've all come with a court change. They're coming home off a successful road trip. That doesn't tend to be a bet on spot. And look, the Blazers are playing good ball right now. Make no mistake about it. They've won 9 of their last 12. You have Nurkic, who's been, now it's a big 3 with McCollum and Lillard. Nurkic's been a monster. 22 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, 6 blocks last night. And it's a Blazers team that has fared well in recent meetings against OKC. They've kind of had their number. So I'm expecting a competitive game, not a blowout. Chance for the Thunder, obviously, to pull away at some point in this contest. But I'm not necessarily inclined to lay it here with the favorite.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, Teddy. As we're taping this right now, just getting some updated numbers, it looks like we're showing some, buyback here, taking the Portland Trailblazers now down to 5.5 and 5 in some outlets, over under of 226.5. So probably by the time this gets to taping, it'll be a little bit, off on that spot. But it looks like at the time right now, a little bit inflated in the morning, so it looks like it's coming down a little bit here. Teddy, off the mic segment. I like this one. I like where we can yell and scream in a certain fan base because we in Philadelphia, we take a lot of heat, There's been batteries in the past. There's been snowballs. There's been fist fights. We get all that. But the Saints can't let it go. We started the topic of the show off of saying, you know what, pass interference, can you challenge it, yes or no? But now we take it to the next level, Teddy, where we're talking about change.org. Like, when you say, you know what, I want to change my school board, or we need new roads here in the state or in town, and we want to sign a petition. Fans are signing a petition right now, Teddy, as we speak, thinking that they can get Roger Goodell to go in reverse and have these two teams line up on, a Thursday to try to decide the outcome of the game after it's already been finished. 500,000 fans have already signed this. Rule 17, Section 2, Article 3, where they just think that the NFL can just step in right here and right the wrong of a pass interference. Teddy, I can't get enough of this story, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat amusing. Let me ask you this. I want to ask you a personal question, Donnie.
Yes.
You ever signed a petition?
I actually have not ever signed a petition.
Never once in your life have you signed a petition?
Never
really?
once. I mean, maybe when I was a kid, if we, like in the school cafeteria when we wanted chocolate chip cookies instead of Oreos, maybe back then, but nothing real serious, no.
But no, we've all signed petitions. All right, at some point in our life, just about all of us have signed a petition. I don't think any of those petitions has ever done anything other than you sign it, in terms of actual results from a petition. It's like a protest. Back in the day, I was a student at Michigan. Yeah, I was out there protesting and signs and chanting, all that stuff. 21-year-old Teddy, you better believe it. I was all into that stuff.
Yep, mullet out there. Yeah, Teddy was getting it going, sure.
Oh, no, the hair was long in the front, too. I was a ponytail kid. That's
there you go.
Late 80s, early 90s, you better believe it. Of course, all the protests that I was ever involved with. Did anything ever change? Nothing, ever. Not even one bit. It's just a way for fans to self-soothe, I guess. It's not going to do anything. It's a giant waste of time. Enjoy yourself. Get 10 million people to fill a petition. Get every U.S. citizen to fill a petition. Won't make a damn's worth of difference. It's a waste of time.
Also, PointsBet Sportsbook in New Jersey, which I didn't even know was a sportsbook, Teddy, until I saw the story and had to check it out here. Obviously, starting to get their footing in New Jersey, coming out with a new application. Always nice to give back some money. We don't really know how much was actually bet with that PointsBet or what was online, but making news now saying it was a wrong that we're going to correct. And Saints, if you bet their money line or you took them straight in the game, which I don't even know why that even factored in since they lost the game. And even if that play was called, you probably only pushed your wager anyway, but they were able to give their money back there, Teddy. So interesting, though, we saw DraftKings do that a couple weeks back, but now it looks like PointsBet Sportsbook trying to enter into the mix and say, get the good graces with our sportsbook, Teddy. Here's your money back on this one.
Now, note what you said right at the top there. You're like, I never heard of these guys, but look what they did yesterday, and now I've heard of these guys. Okay, PointsBet Sportsbook. When you do publicity stunts, great. We're all in favor of that. Refund the bettors money. Nice job. I appreciate that. Bettors will appreciate that. Of course, that if they did it, the liability that they suffered, that they didn't have that much Saints liability, they wouldn't have done it. But the fact they did it, good PR stunt. I'm in favor of it. Do another one next week. I have no problem with the concept. And if there are other books that want, hey, I never heard of you. You never heard of me. You want to make a name for yourself? Do the same thing. Do a good for bettors. It's a good thing to do. It's from a PR standpoint, it's a great thing to do. I'm all in favor of refunding losing wagers when you have the opportunity to do so, and it doesn't burn your sportsbook's bottom line too much. Thank you, PointsBet Sportsbook. Don't know how many bets you refunded, but I think it's a good move. Nobody ever thinks it's a good
points. Move. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, come on, man. We need to get this money back. We never burn anybody here on That Betting Show here. January 22nd. Look at that. Under 20 minutes. You got everything you needed. Quick, concise, compact. We'll do it again tomorrow. He's Teddy Savransky. Once again, give him a follow on Twitter at Teddy_covers. I'm Donnie Seymour at Rightside VP. That Betting Show, January 22nd, 2019. Join us tomorrow as we hit the hard court again in the association and college basketball. Take care, folks.